If you have an interest in anything cool, awesome, fast, or blue, then Sonic Mania is the game for you. What's up everyone, I'm Phritzy, and this is Life's a Video Game. So Sonic Mania Plus just came out, which actually is an expansion to the original Sonic Mania that hit stores in 2017. The, plus being the expansion part. Anyway, so look at this. It's shiny, and it comes out in another nostalgia-filled package. If you haven't already, you should check out these commercials for the game. It's pretty good. It's very 90s, and it's making fun of the bro shooters of today. But in the 90s, those same type of commercials were making fun of Nintendo and Mario. Seriously, you should honestly check these ads out. They're worth wasting your time on, honestly. So like, what is so like special about Sonic anyway? Like, why should I even care? Well, Sonic at first was created to be in competition with the Plumber Hero. He was supposed to be the cool and shinier version of the platformer, and I'd say for about 4 to 6 years, he was. These games were all pretty great. Not perfect, no, they definitely had their issues, but they were a heck of a lot of fun to play. Then Sega, the folks behind the franchise, well, started changing things. Now, there are some people who like the 3D games and all the other stuff, and I think that's cool that you're into those games. But for me, I just couldn't enjoy Sonic as a game once Sonic Adventure came out. I played it along with the sequel, and it's just not my thing, despite me really wanting to love it. You see, Sonic the Hedgehog was the very first game I owned, and I remember asking my parents for a Nintendo as I really wanted to play Super Mario World, but I ended up getting a Sega Genesis instead, along with Sonic 2. I was not disappointed at all. In fact, I thought it was great. So I've always had a love for Sonic, but as I got older, the games didn't seem to have the same charm as they once did. Because you see, what makes Sonic a great game is not the cool, awesome, fast, or blue that I mentioned at the beginning. Those are all kinda cherries on top. Those elements without the core makes for a fairly lame experience. Okay, so what is the core then? Well, Sonic at its core is a motion-based platformer. So let's look at Sonic for a second. You tap the jump button a little bit and he does a little jump. And you hit the jump button and he does a really big jump. Wow, you hit the jump button and he does a little jump. How very basic of you. Well, when Sonic is standing still or hardly moving, yeah, the jump is fairly basic. But when you're by one of the half-pipe things, this is where Sonic really shines. If you give yourself a running start, you jump something like this high. But then you also have this spin dash ability that, well, does this. See the difference? And the levels are designed around this ability to adjust your jump. Most levels have 3, often even 4 paths. It'll be something like the top is for people who have perfected this motion-based platforming, and the middle is for the average gamer. And the bottom is easier on the platforming end, but there's more enemies and hazards to deal with. This formula will often get changed around too, keeping the levels pretty interesting. You're also not stuck on any one path in the levels. If you're at the top and you fall, you can get yourself back up, and these levels are designed to allow you to explore and find cool little power-ups and such. So with all that said, the motion-based gameplay gives you the illusion of speed, and in turn makes you look cool and awesome. The part about being blue, well, I don't know. I guess it's just the same reason why I have blue hair. Because, like, why not? Sonic Mania is a return to form with that whole motion-based physics at its core. It's kind of cool, actually, because this game was created by people who created ROM hacks of the original games. What's so neat about all this is these guys created Sonic games for the sheer passion of it. They were not getting paid, and Sega could have easily shut them down. It's often typical for that to happen, actually. And, I mean, on the outside, that makes sense. If someone is making a version of your product, you might get pissed off and try to shut them down, and I honestly would not blame you for thinking that. But I don't know, maybe after 20 years of meh, Sega might have thought, what the hell, let's just give these people a shot. It paid off. Sonic Mania was the best rated Sonic game in 15 years. Its Metacritic score looks to be around 90%, like that's kinda great. I feel like there's a lesson in here somewhere, but I'll leave it at that. Sonic Mania revamps a lot of the old classic levels and adds a few new ones into the mix. To be honest, even the old ones feel better to play through than the original versions. They just add so many new elements. Sonic as a playable character feels just as good as ever to play, if not better, as he has this drop dash move where you can hit the jump button for a second time while in mid-air, and once you land, you'll get this instant speed boost to help you with that whole motion-based gameplay thing. It's fairly simple to use, but very effective and a lot of fun. The original Sonic Mania came with 2 other playable characters, Tails and Knuckles. They're pretty fun to use as they are just a variation to how Sonic performs as a character. They keep the motion-based stuff, but are a tad slower. However, they make up for this by Tails being able to fly for a short time and swim, and Knuckles can glide and climb walls. Essentially, Tails is good for anyone who is new to this type of game and has a hard time with platforming challenges. Because of that, his flight is limited and kind of slow. Knuckles is more built for someone who likes to explore the levels top to bottom. He can climb up walls and find hidden passages. This makes up for the fact that he can't jump as high as Sonic. Originally, when I played this in 2017, I thought it was perfect, that the 3 playable characters were all you needed, and to add more would be to take away. I mean, some of the Sonic games in the last 20 years have added characters who just kill the gameplay. What makes Tails and Knuckles such cool additions is that at their core, they're still based around how Sonic is designed. The original version even has a slight change in story for Knuckles, so again, I didn't think the game needed anything else. But the Plus version did come out, and my darling brother just had to buy it, so I took it from him, and now I'm giving opinions on the internets. To be frank, the Plus version is truly worth your time. If you enjoy the Sonic gameplay in any way, then you'll enjoy this edition as well. It gives you 2 new characters that were from some obscure arcade Sonic game way back in the day. You can play as Mighty the Armadillo, and he's kind of like a tank. You can do a ground pound, and the shell will protect you from a lot of hazards. Like, check this out. If you are Sonic and you jump on spikes, you just get hurt. But if you're Mighty, then this happens. It's kind of nice. He seems to be designed for people who don't care much for the crazy platforming challenges and just wants to bust through the level. You can also play as Ray the Flying Squirrel. If you've ever played Super Mario World, then you'll know that you can do this with the cape power-up. It's just like that, except you don't lose that power-up after you get hurt. It's just part of the character. His ability is absolutely the most difficult to pull off as well, but arguably the most rewarding. As with the right momentum, you can seemingly fly anywhere. And it's pretty quick too. Unlike Tails, where it takes forever to land once you start flying, with Ray, if you don't want to fly anymore, no problem. Down and off you go. So I'd say Ray is designed with more advanced players in mind, who like the idea of flying around and have places to go so they can't waste time. The Plus version allows you to go through the original game with both Ray and Mighty by themselves, or you can play through the new edition called Encore Mode. Instead of dealing with lives, you play through the story with all 5 characters. You can swap between the 2 that you immediately see on the screen, or you can just find items to switch up your team. If one of your characters die, you start playing the next one online. I really enjoyed this mode as it mixes things up a lot. The levels have been changed just enough to keep you on your toes, and they cater to these new characters as well. The story motivation changes just a little bit too. The thing I like about this mode is after you've played through the original for some time, you might start to get bored, as that's fairly normal after you've done something over and over. Encore mode mixes things up just enough to keep you on your toes. You're never playing with one character for too long, which causes you to change up your strategy based on who you're playing. This added feature is something like a $5 upgrade, so it's pretty worth it, especially if you've already enjoyed the game before. If you haven't played Sonic Mania before, but you were curious to see if it was worth your time and money, I'd say give it a go. Like, honestly, I feel like the money my brother spent on it was well worth my time. So go ahead, get your sibling to buy it because you know that they're not going to play through it anyway, and then take it from them so you can enjoy the game like me as well. Thanks all. Don't forget to share and subscribe. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.